All right, let's see. Are we live? You're frozen on my end, so
I'm frozen on your end.
yeah, that's all right. We're live. Good deal. All right, guys, good morning. For those that are in here already watching, we got no CVO this morning. He is sick. We're just going to go over the charts, talk a little bit about Bitcoin, a little bit about the order flow, might cover a couple alts, but it'll be a fairly quick stream. News of the day was, obviously everybody's been talking about Gemini, $485 million worth of outflows in the last 24 hours because people are scared that they can't get their money out. So we'll call it FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and the market is still there. People don't trust exchanges. That's the underlying sentiment, and you can't blame them one bit. So without any further ado, we'll jump into the charts. Max, how you doing this morning over there?
Very well, mate. Been a slow day, but very well.
Good deal. You'll notice that we have a little bit different look to it today. This is going to be more of a local time frame, low time frame chart. We will talk about the high time frames just a little bit, but you got your previous day range here. That's been the play overnight for anyone that's in the group. You already know this, but if you're new to this kind of content, this was the range to be trading. You've got your initial balance up top here. You can see that you made the initial balance, found your way back into the prior day range, and you've cycled it and hence come back to the previous day point of control. I was going through last night as we were getting ready for our members only live. You did have bearish divergence coming in here at the highs. You can see that on your CVD, and you can see that kind of told you that it was coming back down towards that previous day value area low and the weekly value area low. So, good support here. If you look at it as an overall range as well, which I believe I have right here, you can see that you are at support for the weekly, and you are now looking down to support potentially here for the overall range, right around that 16,300 level that we've been getting front run on. That is the level of interest. So I'm only interested in this trade setup if we're taking these lows, the previous day low specifically, and making a move back above reclaim, and then you can look for the long there. But otherwise, I'm not going to be presetting anything. I just don't think that's wise in these current market conditions. And if you lose this level, then you really are just looking down to your local low here. And, then the game of swing, fail, and bounce, or, lower targets is underway. So those lower targets are pretty simple. I'll get off Dixie here. I was toying around with Dixie last night a little bit. We'll talk about Bitcoin here. Really, really easy chart to look at if we clean it up anyway. I'm just looking at this as a potential channel. You could draw this fib channel multiple ways. I used the closures here on the daily time frame, so you can get 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and you can see that these are pretty well respected, and that this is getting our resistance fairly well, letting us know that if we break above this, what would we expect to see? Well, 17.5, potentially up to as high as $18,000 is on the table at that point. And those would be the areas of interest. Nothing changes for me in the high time frame unless you're back above this monthly at 19.4. You do have a TPO POC there. Also, if you were just to turn on the old range in terms of TradingView 40 tick volume, you can see that's your overall volume point of control according to TradingView. If you were to look at it from a different charting software like ATAS, however, you are going to be looking at it as the TPO point of control, where your merged area point of control is still at 20,000. So that would be a pretty important little box to get back above, and would make this look a lot like a deviation. And I would expect to see 23,301, maybe higher at that time, but you can't really entertain that idea until things like this happen. To the downside, if we start breaking down, the next target is 13,880. After that, you're looking down to, I think, 11,374 was the level I gave last night, 10,767, 8605, and etc. All this stems from a chart that I put on my Twitter. We'll look at that in just a second for anyone that's new. Right? You'd be looking at it like this. This is your old range, okay? Meaning that we have come back to the deep crab once again. I know you guys love hearing me talk nonstop about this thing, but it's just been so good in the sense that it's really, really helped get the move. The original notes here. So I started posting this idea at the original high before it was taken, which made this even more valid, into the 165, 1618 pocket, but also getting that 2.24 for the expansion. So the expansion was good, but what made it even better was the time on it. So for anyone that knows, I like time quite a bit. And that was really the, the factor of why I think that this is such a valid setup, because you can go from the previous high to low, or I'm sorry, the previous low to high, excuse me. We'll adjust that here in just a second. And it'll give you an exact 1-to-1 in time and price, right? So you can see there is your top. So you had everything there. You had negative fibs there. You had expansions there, all kinds of basically confluence or convergence, as it's referred to in Fibonacci, to be looking at this as we should be using this as a roadmap. You can see this was your first support box that was given. This is your second one, getting a rejection right here from it, and also never really formally holding it as support. And now you're looking down to your next one, which this is derived from just the 0.5 here at 14,677. So that's like an early target. However, I think that you're more than likely you could move that down to 13,880 where the box starts. And then you are looking for like the overall, range. You're looking at this as if we fall back inside of 19,666, we should be looking down towards probably, this point of control coming in right around, I think for this section of price, if we were to extend it, is like 9,200. However, if you exclude the data after the breakout, so this is only from when we were consolidating here on over below the all-time high, it does show you your point of controls at 3,850. So that is kind of quite the drop there. But, the EQ of this, so one way to look at this, and a person brought this up, I've seen other people kind of misconstrue what this is. So this is a little lesson, and anyone that is familiar with I'm not going to mention what trader it is, you'll know that they didn't invent this. This is actually a well-known concept. I've seen it kind of mentioned in our group here and there. They refer to it as a pocket, but it's actually an Elliott wave term, and it was recently espoused again on higher channels, like a big channel. So you have a move up, a clear three-way move up, three-wave, and you've left the expansion, right? So now when you're looking at this range and you're coming back to it, you would expect to see the 50%. However, in this case, the reason you only choose the 1,272 and 382 is the traditional method actually, is because that would imply that the move was not impulsive and that it was just going to be a short corrective move. In this case, you don't have that. But I do think that if we start getting back below 13,880, it would be naive to think that we won't see potentially as low as like $8,000. So that is where that comes from. That is the technical reasons behind it. It's actually an Elliott wave strategy, but it really helps put things in perspective for you. That 19,666 should be looked at as the range high just from a structural standpoint and the structure here. And if you can't get back above it, nothing has changed. You're looking for the next level down, which in this case would be about 12,500, which is, relevant, obviously right here. So that's really all I've got on Bitcoin high and low time frames. In terms of the SPX, we'll take a look at that. I was having a little fun with Max in the DMs here. You guys can ignore those. Those aren't targets. SPX. So you are getting a bit of a rejection here for now. I was looking at this as it's already completed technically a cipher. This is technically a cipher right here. And it is valid. You could make the argument this is also a completed shark because you're within 8 to 10% of the completion zone. So, excuse me, it would be front running this point of control and this, target right here. And that's why I said when we got up to these levels, you really shouldn't be looking at this as an area to be putting on risk because you're really coming into the last 10% of the move at most. And you don't want to be that person that's longing that. That's not a good idea. It's not going to bode well for you, but you have come back into our regression. You're now gapping down to it. You have a gap right here at the 3831 Q4 key level. And one could presume that if you lose this, that this local top would start confirming, and you're probably going to at least challenge the 2021 low again. which to me doesn't look that great. It would then look like it wants to come and step back into the overall range from 2020, which we left naked right here. And then you can see that you also have a naked pivot down here that we've been targeting for quite some time right at the gold pocket. So that would be the setup for those. However, if you can find yourself, getting support here back at this support, you could put in a higher low as well. So have to keep that in mind. But this is all coordinating with the prior analysis we gave you on the Dixie. So if we go to Dixie now and take a look, I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff because I was just having a lot of fun with it last night. It probably looks pretty confusing right now, but this was the idea that I had, and it obviously front ran my timing by just a few days, but was looking for this zone of confluence here. So what you'll notice is this is an overall 382 right here coming in, kind of backing up this zone of support. And I'm going to get rid of this guy too because it's just in the way. Into the local gold pocket, into the local 382. You've also got just a handful of things here that are going to be support. So this was looking for a bounce. You've got the 105.67 level that we gave. And yeah, I would be looking to back test up at this point from the, well, this is technically a bat pattern. And so the target on a bat pattern is immediately going to be your B leg, as that is where the range was set up prior. So you would just basically be looking at this like this, and that would be your target, right? Which is prior support. You're just looking to back test some old support, basically. Very, very simple. But if that's bouncing and we're looking for higher on that and the SPX is falling, everything is kind of working in unison with itself. And so it does, stand to make sense. The timing on the idea of this completing higher still is technically valid till next Tuesday, but you do have to look at the price action and say, if price is, falling, we shouldn't be looking for this target. We should just accept that maybe it's already completed a little bit early. And it's a really good lesson for those that were looking to long this into that region of why you don't FOMO into a move and try to catch the end of a move, because that's where it's going to leave you probably hurting the most. So that is all I've got. It was a really fast rundown, guys. All 20 of you watching in here, appreciate you guys being here this morning with us. Got 8 likes. If you guys want, do us a favor, though. You can support the channel by just hitting the like button. Max, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. So quick one from me today, because there's really just not been the volume or the price action ready to go over. I'll go over, we had the members stream last night or this morning even. What really happened since then? Well, you came down to the previous day val, didn't actually touch it, but I know CVO took a long on Ethereum from the previous day val. That offered a good bounce. I didn't take that. I've been waiting for lower. I will admit, I've been waiting for lower the past 2 days. It's killing me. But I did take a really quick little short from up here. I will admit it wasn't even $100 scalp, so wasn't the best. It gave me something to do today, and it was up here. So you did have some not bearish divergence. Sorry, you had a couple of things here. You had the golden pocket from the today's high, effectively, to the low that was made, and you came right up into the golden pocket, front run of the daily open, and it was a swing failure pattern. So it's just a few things that lined up nicely, because it tapped effectively the golden pocket in these highs. I'll admit I was waiting for the daily open, but then when I saw the swing failure pattern, I thought, you know what, I'll just take that and accept it. And quick little trade. Well, I say quick, dragged it out, but it was only a small trade. Right now, what I'm really looking at, well, if you're looking at the trend of the day, it is a downtrend, whichever way you look at it. Though we're not making effectively lower lows, we're failing to make a single higher high. So, the downtrend that is this of the day is, well, I'm expecting it to continue, really. The fact that you've got open interest increasing throughout the whole trend, you've got CVD decreasing, it shows that shorts are coming in. Now, if you start to claim the daily open, that means all these people that are short in this section of the chart are effectively underwater in their shorts. So that's when my point of view will change. But as we're coming up here now, if we zoom in and look at it, it does appear that it's not the strongest little move. This on the 5-minute chart. Volume's there. Okay, that's good. Delta's there. But unfortunately, it is shorts closing out and not buys really coming in. So really, we'll have to see wherever this takes us when it closes, and do buyers become interested, which I imagine you'll get the breakout traders as you take these highs and claim the daily open. So it very well might be the case that buyers eventually come into this little move that we've got now, but I'm still holding on to the fact that we're going to come down and tap that weekly open. So if I get given an opportunity to short, I will, even if we take these highs, and I'm still going to be looking for shorts. I've not been longing because I've just been expecting it to come to this region, and I'm not trying to trade against the trend today. So yeah, that's honestly a quick one. There's literally nothing to say. It's probably the smallest TPO chart we've had in months. It's been a very uneventful day. The range is, it's
I would
very
say
small.
the initial balance was pretty small today, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'd say compared to the day's range,
Yeah.
everything about today has just been very slow, very confined. There's really been nothing to go off. It's been a very boring day, as was yesterday. Yesterday was more painful because it kind of just did a slow drag down, whereas today it's just flat. Effectively flat. It's not really doing anything. It's not really giving many trades, and no good trades anyway. No trades that you can really shout about, which is a pain
About
in
the
the
only
ass.
trades you can take are just the obvious ones. They could be taken, but
Yeah,
you're not using anything to get in.
they're all weak trades. So it's like
Yeah.
it's a pain because you're not going to chuck a load of position size at it. Because you're not going to chuck a load of position size at it due to it being a weak trade. I know we've actually broken the daily open, still on decreasing open interest. So we'll have to see if this can claim the daily open, because then that does change my opinion, because we'll have a ton of shorts trapped effectively. So
Yeah. For me,
interest
16 like 800 is still just super key.
of
Being like I'll merge the profiles here in a second and I'll show you guys. I'd be curious to see what it looks like merged on ATAS versus merged on EXO, actually.
All right, you do ATS, I'll do EXO. How far back are we going?
Bueno.
Shush. How far back are we
Oh,
going?
Badger. You've got got quite the guard dog over there.
He's a good lad. So if I'm going back to the 9th of November, we've got, let me go to one tick as well. God, it just makes your PC so slow. So one tick with the volume back to the 9th of November, is 17,401 is the value area high.
Okay. Yeah.
And the value area low is 16,190. That's to the 9th, yeah?
I've got 16,120 on the TPO val and 16,200 for the profile, and then 17,677 for profile value area high and 17,390 for TPO. So I'm still expecting to see those regions potentially, because we just need to stop people out, kind of like we're doing right now. I just don't foresee a move down without a quick move up to either trap late longers or stop people out, and then it becomes the game of, is it what we think it might be move wise? Are we getting that move to the high? And is it something that we want to participate as far as a short goes? Because shorting in this region outside of the intraday, like low time frame scalps, is just not good R to R. But, every trader is going to do what they're going to do. It doesn't matter how many times you tell them not to short the low of a range. But, with a small range like that, it kind of does prelude that maybe there will be a larger move coming, And I think you alluded to that with the breakout traders wanting to play, and usually that doesn't end well for them.
Yeah. I mean, this move up is weak, and it has to have some buyers come into it. It just seems if you zoom out and look at it, this isn't the actual way to look at the chart. But you can look at it and say, okay, in this downtrend from here to there, you've got a ton of shorts that have entered, open interest increasing. You've got some wiggle room on the fuel. It's not the correct way to look at it, but it's one where you can kind of identify, okay, how much maybe punch is this little move going to get. But it's clearly dropping off here as the shorts close. Now, what you're going to look for to get a in a trade up here and a reversal is, well, you want to see either shorts actually piling and start pushing the price down, and they need to push the price considerably. You don't want to see like $1 million short come in and not push the price at all. You want to see them actually, you want to see a weak order book and it start to push through that. That will show you that, what goes up, it's going to come down type thing. Or you want to see some stagnating open interest. And a case could be made here with 3.2 million delta on 900 on a million negative open interest. But I would be cautious on that one because it's only just popped back up. You want to see all of them at the same time.
Previous day value area high. So we were talking about this at the beginning of today's live, and I'll show it real quick. I like putting it on TradingView. It's just easier to deal with when you're looking at the chart. We were talking about how this is the range to be playing. There's your initial balance. You've come up to the EQ of it, previous day value area high. You're still playing this range. And if you were to look at this as a structure, obviously you've got some kind of compression coming and you're getting smaller and smaller daily ranges. So a move is coming. The question is, will we get, something like this where we can take a short, or is it just going to come down here and give us the long opportunities potentially? Nobody truly knows, and trading breakouts is never a fun thing. So that's why I always wait for a key level like here. So if we start breaking above it, it'd be wise to begin taking profits up here at the value area high of the range. And, you have resistance here, statistical targets are here, the pivots, dailies there. So, that's what you're looking for effectively. And if the move continues to go that high, even though it's looking weak now and it continues to be weak the entire way up there, well, it's going to make for a really great short, but all the people that are shorting too early will get effectively their position run. Yeah. So,
if you're looking at that pennant thing that we were laughing about this morning after Magic, I don't know whether you've got it up on your chart at all.
No, I don't, but I can.
Well, the high, if we take the high from when we were talking effectively, it's going to be coming in at the top of it. So
yeah, you can kind of see it right here, guys. It's just a pennant. I don't do pattern trading too much.
Yeah, you do.
But I usually only trade head and shoulders because those are the most reliable patterns. Sarcasm there for anyone that doesn't know. That's definitely some sarcasm. But this is what the rest of the space is looking at, and it's not that they're looking at it incorrectly. It's it's just that when this does break, it is going to offer up a move. It's just a lot of times you see people drawing things like this for a reason, where you go like this, right? 100%. And all those people that entered long here end up getting wrecked. And we traded one of these on the way down, if you recall. It was a falling wedge though, and it was where I entered my short from 40K. It was this guy. I called this one out a couple days in advance, and it was effectively, everyone was looking at this as like some form of a falling wedge, basically. And we were looking for, and I still have that clipped because that was such a nice clip. You got to hang on to the winners. We were looking for this and then down. And at the time, our target was a monthly pivot, which it did front run. So this is why I say it's important not to get greedy towards the end of these moves, because it will leave you, wanting more and not getting it. So you can see it was right here at 40,889. So we knew that was kind of the invalidation that if, and that also correlates with this local high here, that if we couldn't get up that high, there was no reason to be looking for any additional longs to these other levels up here, right? So that's just kind of the context behind it and how you should be looking at the market. So in the same, when we come back to this now, you can see that you've got a very similar setup. So if this does break to the upside without actually making a new high, it's effectively done nothing. And the people that are wanting more and wanting these, boxes up here potentially are going to be left, hurting, reeling a little bit, because they're going to be holding those positions most likely. So you'd be looking for a break above 17.5. If that's the quarter two low, which is our prior range low, at a minimum, you have to see that reclaimed to have any kind of a chance at this box up here, right? So that's all I'll say on that. I don't really have much else. I I don't see any questions in the chat. So if there are no questions, we'll probably tie it up. I am going to do some altcoin videos today, just static videos. I'll probably look at BNB, Matic. Chainlink is one that people often request, Polkadot. And then I think someone wanted me to look at lossless, which doesn't have a ton of history. I've charted it before. I've traded it before back in the day, but I'll take a look at it because I know that a lot of people are holding bags from these coins for long periods of time. And they bought them based on the idea that, the fundamentals of this token was going to be great. And so I repeated often that fundamentals of tokens almost doesn't matter in this space. It's a space driven by hype. So with altcoins, you got to be kind of cautious on bag holding an altcoin. But yeah, that's it. Anything to add before we go?
Quick and easy. No.
All right, guys. Just how you like it. Quick and easy. All right, I'm going to hop off here, guys. We'll catch you guys tomorrow morning, as always. If you have any questions, there is a link in the Discord to the Discord down below the video. We have a public section. You're more than welcome to hop in and ask questions or, have conversations about things as long as it's appropriate. And if you're interested in joining, you can find information there as well.